down. W1NZR in the old no-red net, EJ1G.
Good morning, KK1K.
And HVG with you.
Okay, Chris. And very good morning to Jeep and to Dean, putting in nice signals. Yeah, Chris, you should have, I think you said that you were down on the rocks on Beavertail. I'm sorry, I went down to Radio 1 to get something, and when I came back up, I think you were saying that you'd visited Jamestown. Well, you should have stopped in. Yeah, it's been a real summer. Very, very nice here, actually. We get rain finally night before last. It's almost really drying out again. But now the grass will grow and have to go through that cycle. But yeah, it's been most pleasant indeed. And Steve, yeah, I am up in Radio 2, but I don't, unfortunately, my view is to the north. I don't have a view of the water from this radio room. But that's okay. It's still nice to sit back and just I can see the yard, etc. So nice to be up here. I can't remember the last time actually. Well, I operate the CW net when I get on up here, but I haven't been on this frequency in a while. So anyway, Dean, Jeep, you guys are sounding good this morning. Ted, you can put them in as you see fit, but I'll send it up to Glenn and take it from there. Probably go back down to Radio Central because I've got a bench project that I want to complete before I head down there. So I'll keep the Meisner in hot standby. Who knows, Dale may come in with his, and we'll have to have a Meisner to Meisner. N1SNG and the Mill Rad Net. Up to you, Glentron. W1NZR.
W3 and the more.
This is up first. Stand by, man. I've overheard W2EJT in there. Is that correct? Over.
Joe's in there.
Yeah, go ahead and make one and pass it to KK1K. WA2EJT, go ahead.
W3 and more.
Okay, very fine. Joe, nice signal up here this morning. WA2EJT in the Mill Rad Net. This is KK1K. Well, it's about 60 degrees here. Looks like we're in for another lovely day. We've had very nice weather here. The grass, it was so wet this spring you could hardly get the mowing equipment out there, but now it's looking a little brown. So no, not beavertail brown, but brown color. And but we've got a few little projects on the outside done, and thinking about working on antenna projects here before the snow flies. How about that for an interesting subject? Copying everyone quite well. Chris coming through nicely. Brown, good signal here from Radio 2. I didn't hear Glenn, but anticipated hanging in here. And Joe, you're coming through very nicely with the AR-213. We're running the T3 this morning. So I didn't get directions to send it along to someone else, so I'll just shoot it right back to you, Ted. And we'll be here for the duration this morning. So W3PWW, by the way, conditions were somewhat difficult Sunday night. I don't know if you copied it all, the CWNet. It was just Dale, Perry, and myself checking in. Dale, Perry, Tom, and myself checking in Sunday evening. And sometime shortly after the net, I got an email from a station down in Foreland. It was a very courteous email saying that, they had a QRP net on the same frequency. And so I just rattled back that I've been checking into the Milrad net here for some 15 years, and again, I'm a latecomer. Hi, so I didn't hear anything back, but it was kind of interesting to get an email from someone that we were causing them some consternation, but not intentionally. But there you go. Anyhow, not a big turnout for last Sunday evening's net. I think that W3PWW call brings them out of the woodwork. So Ted, back to you. This is KK1K.
And Ted, relay Jeep is in there. KD3HT. KW1I.
Yeah, okay, Dean. Yeah, I heard Jeep in there also.
Big Humdale. Give everything a shake.
W3PWW, okay, well, all right. I never heard anything else on frequency. I wonder how that particular person is dealing with the digital people, because they're right on our frequency also. And I know the one guy that comes on is really, really powerful here. So, I don't think I've ever heard of that particular station you're talking about, Dean. So I've never heard anything else. I did hear another net that fires up at 9 o'clock. That's a 4W4. I think that's down in Foreland somewhere, but I didn't know there was two in the T. So anyway, right now I can't find another crystal close to that frequency that I can plug into the DC610 to continue on with it. I'll have to see what else I have here that I can connect with. Okay, let's see. Let's pick up K3HBG, and then I heard another station also, so I'll stand by for him. K3HBG, W3PWW. Go ahead, Jeep.
W3MMR. W3MMR, good morning.
I guess you heard NMR in there, Ted. Okay, W3PWW. And the old military radio net, K3HBG, in Frederick, Maryland. Okay, well, good morning to all. We copied Brown, Glenn, Steve, John, and Mike. And a couple of more stations also. Haven't written them down. I got an email from one of the guys who bought one of my AR-213s, Buzz, up in upstate New York. Was trying to crank up the laptop here to recall his call sign. It's in the emails in the other room, so. But Buzz has got one of my AR-213s on the air and was going to try to check in, so as soon as I get his call sign, Ted, perhaps you could give him a call a little bit later. Anyway, I'm in commercial gear. Sorry about that. Conditions when I first turned on a while back were just not great. A fair amount of QRN down this way, but Ted, you are especially strong this morning. good copyable signal from Joe. So there are some other stations down there a little bit lower level, Ted. W3PWW in the old military radio net, K3HVG.
Okay, Jeep, very good. K3HVG, W3PWW. You also pounding in here this morning. Very good. W3MMR, W3MMR, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Ted. W3PWW. In the old military radio net, W3MMR. Good morning to the group this morning. Beautiful morning here in Chester, Pennsylvania. 69 degrees, relatively low humidity, and I think it's going to be a beautiful day today. Good morning to you, Jeep, and Glenn, John, Ted, Dean, Steve, anyone else I may have missed. I'm a little late to the party myself, Jeep. I've been having an obligation here on Saturday mornings real early, so I have to run. I've been listening to you guys on the web SDR since the beginning of the net, and I just got back here about 5 or 10 minutes ago, so I figured I'd fire up the SDR and say good morning and see if I couldn't check in here real quick. I heard you guys talking about about lightning earlier and some close calls. I've been fortunate to not have any direct hits growing up as a kid with my father, W2SDR. I've experienced some hits at the house, coming home and seeing the 10-meter vertical and fiberglass shards all over the driveway, and him looking at me and asking me if the antenna's gone. And he had a real close strike over at the QTH in New Jersey last week. Didn't strike any of the towers or his 40-meter verticals there in the field there to the side of the house, but it was close enough to blow out his cable modem for the internet and blow out one of the HDMI outputs on the surround sound receiver in his living room. And then he went out to investigate the grounding system on the cable where the cable comes into the house, and sees that they improperly installed the grounding block and grounded the block to these metal braces that hold a plastic box on the side of the house. I guess they just saw metal there and said, "Oh, I'm just going to ground it to here. That should work." So he brought out the digital voltmeter and found that it wasn't quite a sufficient ground. So we're thinking that was probably the issue. But you guys know how lightning is. Sometimes there's nothing you can do to prevent it. So anyway, we won't hold it. We'll keep things moving around. Turn it back up to you, Ted. Good morning. Everybody's booming in here this morning. Great signals, and everybody's sounding great, and hope everybody had a good 4th of July weekend last weekend as well. So back over to you, Ted. W3PWW in the old mill red net. W3MMR.
Okay, Perry, very good. W3MMR, W3PWW in the old military radio net. Very good. And okay on your dad's situation over there. Yeah, stuff like that happens, that's for sure. We had similar things like that happen when we got some other stuff put in the house here. And if when in doubt, I would get the electric company to come out and check with their megger to check the grounds all around your place. I think they'd probably do that if you call them and ask them. Okay. One more standby for check-ins before we go back up to the top. We'll go complete round this time, starting with Glenn, but right now, stand by for any more check-ins for the old military radio net. Anybody left off on that? Please call now.
WB3CTC.
Copy CTC. Anyone else, over?
WA1JUJ.
Copy WA1JUJ. Anyone else, please, over?
KW1I.
Copy KN4R. Anyone else?
CTC was in there.
Yeah, I got him.
KW1I.
KW1I. Okay, we'll continue on down. And then we'll go back up and make one round. With, starting with Glenn up there. We should have plenty of time for that this morning. Okay, we have WB3CTC, WA1JUJ, KN4R, and KW1I. WB3CTC, W3PWW, and the old military radio net. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, hi, Ted, and everybody in the net. W3PWW and the old military radio net. This is WB3CTC, Mike in Lancaster, PA. Running the ART-13 and the BC-348. I'm surprised I get an email newsletter from the ARRL every week. I guess it's on Thursday, and they had a YouTube attachment on the thing about propagation and how that there hasn't been a sunspot on the sun for the last couple weeks, and propagation has been bad, going to be bad for a while. So I thought that was something that we thought that was important enough to stick on there. It was quite the presentation. It probably lasted about 10 minutes. So. Oh, boy, it doesn't sound good, but propagation isn't too bad. I'm hearing the near stations and far stations, so, well, I better knock on wood while I say that. And, not a whole lot going on here. Just, it's hot as all get out. I don't like the hot weather. So, over to WA1JUJ and the old military radio net. This is WB3CTC.
WB3CTC from WA1JUJ. Okay, fine, Mike. Good signal up into Western Mass. Name is Kevin. We are on the GRC 19 this morning. Run about 115 watts out to a dipole about 30 feet. Signal's a little bit iffy right now. I was listening earlier, and the local stations were much stronger, so the band's shifting around here. Not too much going on with our radio. I did pick up a field strength meter, an old EHIT PM2 that I'm going to mess with probably tomorrow, because I need to do a little bit of antenna work, so we'll see if that works. But other than that, not too much going on. Going to have to get out and get the lawn done. Should be a nice day in Western Mass. It was pretty nice yesterday, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm not going to hold it too long. And I did not hear who it went to after me, so I'll turn it back to you. W3PWW or WA1JUJ.
Okay, WA1JUJ, W3PWW. Nice signal from the GRC 19 this morning. Sounds very good. Next up is KN4R and KW1I. KN4R, go ahead.
W3PWW and the old military radio. This is KN4R, Brian, down in Charlotte.
forward that. And I want to apologize. I haven't been on this. It's been kind of busy, but I'm sleeping in. But anyway, it's nice to be on here. Brown kind of answered me a little bit on email. I told him I'd try to get in here, but anyway, nothing's not too good here this morning yet, but I'm copying you okay, Ted. Well, I'm using modern gear here right now, an RC7610 and ACOM 1000 amplifier. And then wave up about 50 feet or so. So anyway, I just want to say good morning to everybody and pass it over to Dale, KW1I, and the old military radio net. This is KN4R. Over.
Go ahead, Dale.
Okay, KN4R. You kind of faded out on me, Brian. This is KW1I. About 62 degrees here in New Hampshire, or on the Meisner 150B. And it's nice to hear some good propagation this morning, or at least we were listening around 5 o'clock, and we heard Ted and Steve and Glenn, and the propagation's been on and off, and I was in and out there listening on the bedside receiver, but it's very good now. So good morning from New Hampshire and back to Net Control, KW1.
Okay, Dale, very good. Copy everybody. Okay, I think I better get up to the top and see if we can make one complete round here. So starting with N1SNG, it'll be N1SNG, KD3H2, BY2WW, who I'm having a very difficult copy of now. Then it goes to AJ1G, W1NZR, WA2EJT, KK1K, K3HNG. Don't know whether W3MMR is in or not, but I'll put him on the list here. WB3CTC, WA1JUJ, KN4R, and KW1I. N1SNG, W3PWW, and your military radio net. And Glenn, what was your friend there looking for the GRC-19? That was my question. I heard you talk about that early this morning, but I just want to know exactly what he's looking for. N1SNG, W3PWW, go ahead.
Yeah, W3PWW, and the military radio net, N1SNG. Yeah, Ted, that was the M-851 mounting tray for the GRC-19 and the R392. I believe Brown is looking for one in his inventory, and we'll have to see how he makes out there, but I know nothing has surfaced yet, but it will be I believe the mobile mounting bracket for that companion setup there for the GRC-19 392. So that's the request there. And then if somebody comes up with anything, we can work it out from there. Give you the contact information and all that. But I do appreciate any efforts in that reconnaissance department. Yeah, so I am on the Johnson Thunderbolt. The ART-13 went up in smoke just a little while ago. I had the headsets on. I was transmitting. I was to the side of the rig. I was working on a little project on the side of the table. And I could hear all this crackling, and I turned around, and there were billows of smoke coming out of the back of the ART-13. At that time, the PP-47 had shut down, but there was still a pretty good smokestack coming out of there. So I didn't set off any of the smoke alarms. I have a fan in here pushing some of the smoke out. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting to go in there there and see what exactly happened on that there, but I didn't catch it in time. Of course, I'm distracted with something else with the headsets on, and then all of a sudden something is burning. Just waiting for the smoke to clear here down in the shack. I don't know what it sounded like when it took a turn for the worse there, but yeah, the ART-13 is going to have to come off the bench, and it's going to need some going through there. We'll have to see exactly what went on. But anyway, here I am on the, as Jeep would say, the civilian gear, the Johnson Thunderbolt and the Ranger, putting out about 150 watts. I'm using the D104, just using a D104 here with that. So hopefully you're copying me okay. So it's goodbye to the ART-13 for a while, and we'll find other ways of communicating. So over to you, Steve, KD3HT and the old military radio now from N1SNG.
Okay, Glenn. Yeah, I thought I wonder if that was when you NG'd rather short compared to a normal QSO. So I'm sorry to hear that, and hopefully it will end up being something simple to resolve. There are a few, I don't know what's been done to your ART-13, but there are a few caps that are suspect in there, so hopefully it will just be something like that. Unless some of Brown's friendly mice are circulating in there or something. So good morning to the masses that have checked in. Everybody is Q5 here. And yeah, Dale, initially you had a hum, and then you didn't, so that sounds good. It sounds like you have a sock in your mouth. I don't know what mic you're using on the Meisner. But, normal quality doesn't seem to be there, but could be my ears as well. My ears? My ears down in South Carolina. Let's see. Not much to add, really, just enjoying the good conditions, and trying to think of what was discussed in the round that was interesting. And Ted, in case you did not copy Glenn, Brown believes he has a bracket, so the gentleman is looking for the mounting base for the T195 and R392. You probably picked that up, but I'm just mentioning it just in case. And Jeep, you sound good up here. Kevin's good. Everybody. So I think John might. Well, John said he would listen for the round, so I'll send it to him and see if he's still there. But I suspect he might be just in the listening mode at this point. But in case you want to make a transmission, go ahead there, John. VY2WW in the old military radio net. KD3HT.
VY2WW, go ahead. Nothing here. Is he in there, Steve?
Negative.
Okay, continuing on, we have AJ1G, W1NZR, and WA2EJT. AJ1G, go ahead, Chris. AJ1G, go ahead.
KA1LPR.
copy on Crest, W1NZR. Go ahead, Brown. And Brown, I've got one of those bases down here, but I will not ship it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's, those things weigh a lot. W3PWW on the Milradnet, W1N, the ZR, now down in Radio Central on the GPT 750. And a very good morning to Brian, KN4R. Glad you made it, man. I know sometimes it's tough to get up at this hour. Very uncivilized, but it's for radio. So good to hear you. A little noisy, but definitely copying you. And good morning to Jeep. And Dale, good morning to you. Yeah, I was on the Meisner a little earlier. And I've got a project here on the bench that I want to complete. So I came down to Radio 1. And I don't know what happened to Chris. But signals are holding up. Good morning to you, Mike. As usual, putting in a good signal here. And Glentron, I'm very, very sorry to hear that. As Steve said, I hope it isn't anything major, but there are a few things worse on a Saturday morning Milradnet than to have one's transmitter crap out, especially letting the smoke out of some component. I can put one into a rather downward spiral of depression. So I hope we can alleviate that quickly. I have spares. If it's something major from the ART-13, so let me know. It probably isn't. It's probably smoked a cap. Oftentimes those things are much more spectacular than the degree of failure. So, but you did the right thing, Glenn, and you planned properly. When one operates junk, you have to have several so that when one blows up, you can go over to the next one. And that's exactly what you have to do. Same corollary with vehicles. When one craps out, you got to have at least one more that you can go and get into and continue the mission, because that's what's important. Let's see. What else was I going to say? No, nothing of importance. So we'll keep it rolling here. Joe, I hope you're copying me. I copied you when you came in last time. I was up in Radio 2, and you sounded good. So out to the Binghamton area, WA2EJT, and the Milradnet from W1N to ZR. Go ahead, Joe.
Checking. Okay, Brown. This is WA2EJT. Yep, good copy from you and from essentially everyone except I didn't hear, couldn't copy Brian, no signal at all there. Glenn, too bad about your ART-13, but, well, if you're going to run 70-year-old gear, that's going to happen once in a while. I'm always careful with mine here to keep it cool. I have about 4 fans running on and around it. And between transmissions, I turn off the low voltage supply because something dissipates plenty of power when that's on. And that's my defense against ART-13 failure. I'll be heading for the Sussex Hamfest. I'm going to leave today, before lunch. And I'm looking forward to that. I've loaded up not enough stuff, and maybe I'll find another piece or two to add to the pile. Goodness knows there are enough pieces here. And just one other comment is I've been communicating with John Link, W4HWT, about the ER cover showing the RAA receiver. And looking at the restoration that's been ongoing with that. And I was interested in that, especially because I have an original manual, not a copy, but an original manual of the companion HF the RAB. And what an astonishing 400-pound set. And I guess the low-frequency one is about the same size and same weight. real a battleship anchor, I guess you could say. All right, well, it's late enough here that I know I won't be able to be here for another round, and I suspect, Ted, that you may just finish things at the end of this round. So great to be able to copy you this morning, in spite of the sunspotness that Mike commented on. And good morning good morning to everyone, and great to hear all these signals.
Yeah, good morning, Brown.
So I hope you're reading me, Dean, and I think you said you will be coming down to Sussex. It will be good to see you down there. KK1K in the old military net. Good morning again, everyone. WA2EJT.
Okay, very good, Joe. WA2EJT in the MILRAD net, KK1K. All right, well, very nice signal. Your ART-13 is sounding good. And Glenn, as I'm thinking about in past years, I had a capacitor open up in the early frequency generation area of my ART-13 and put B plus right on the grid of a tube, and I was trying to get that thing to work, and all of a sudden I saw smoke rising, and I was able to turn things off, and through some sage advice from Dale, I was able to repair it and get things working again. But it's difficult to reach some of those components. That seems to me that rig was designed not without thinking about a maintenance. The maintenance philosophy there was, I think, pull the rig out and put another one in. So there you go. And speaking of ART-13s, Jeep, I copied down a call I think more than once, from a station who wanted to talk with you. His name was Buzz, W3EMD, and located somewhat north of New York City, and he was operating an ART-13, which he had purchased from you, and it sounded great. So hopefully you'll be able to cross paths with him, but I think he wanted you to hear it and to know how well it was working and how pleased he was with its performance. So we're copying everyone good this morning. Dale, fabulous steering, and whatever difficulty was going on there, you sounded great when you made your last transmission on the Meisner. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Jeep, K3HBG to take it. This is KK1K in the MILRAD net.
Okay, Dean, KK1K in the old military radio net, K3HVJ. Yeah, that was the call sign I was trying to remember. I had to look it up on Kilo Buzz W3EMD. Yeah, he came all the way down from New York City, and he has his station up in upstate New York, and has gear in New York and operates remotely sometimes. But yeah, I got an email that he got it on the air. He'd been trying to contact me for some time, and Comcast lost my email account. For 3 months, they simply couldn't find my mailbox. Stuff was going in, but nothing was coming out, and people thought I was ignoring them, but it took them 3 months, but they were able to reconstitute it, and I only lost, I guess, a couple of years' worth of emails that have been archived. But fortunately, again, I had them archived here, the ones I wanted, so all was well. Never did find out what actually happened, nor are they going to tell me, but anyway, that's the deal. I did notice that the northern stations, the Northeast is much attenuated that last go-round. Brown, you were way down, Glenn was down, very curious. So anyway, that's the deal on that. I'm still working on the S-line equipment that came back to me after about 40 years. It's in such good condition, I can't believe I have seen S-Line gear to come back to me, and you wouldn't recognize it, but this stuff is every bit as pristine the day it left here. Actually, it left Columbia, Maryland. I hadn't even moved up here yet. So anyway, I've got to find either a 516F2 or another HP23 power supply to put it on the air. As I say, it is in such good condition that it demands to be reactivated. But I got the two receivers going, the S3B or the S3C and the 75S1. I got them both going fine. But of course, the power supply is necessary for the transmitter. So that's the deal from down here. And yeah, the mounts for the GRC-19. That takes 2 men and a boy to tote one of those things around. So I think it was the guys up in Pennsylvania, Ted. I'm trying to remember their name. They were in surplus. You know, they got all that equipment from Letterkenny or one of the depots up there. Doggone it. But they mailed one down to me, and I'll tell you what, that puppy was heavy. So that's the deal there. Let's turn it to W3 MMR. And if not, then I guess it goes to... no, I'm not sure. Okay, it goes to Mike then. W3 NMR, the old military radio net. K3HVG. Over.
Yeah, K3HVG in the old MILRAD-net, W3MMR. Just switched over here to the DX100. Hold on, let me turn my scope on. Sorry, hold on one second. It's been a while since I fired this rig up. It's been about almost 2 weeks since I fired this up, so just wanted to go ahead and hop on it here and make sure everything was still good. We come around for a second go round. Just make sure everything's where it needs to be. All right. Everything appears to be going to the right. Anyway, everybody's still holding up real well. Here the NC303 receiver this morning. And like I said, just wanted to get this DX100 fired up. Fired the SDR up, you know, quick and easy, and so I wasn't too sure we were going to go around it. Glad things held out. Yeah, I'm looking at my next rig that I'm going to get is going to be a military rig. I'm just not sure as to what yet. You know, maybe someone can speak on a good, military transmitter for someone to be their first transmitter. The ART-13 seems a little bit on the smaller side as opposed to a T368 or a BC610 or something like that. Not too familiar with, many other transmitters besides the ones that I hear on here on a daily basis, but maybe someone can make a comment on that before we say RSA-73 and close the net down. But yep, one day we'll have ourselves some military gear here. This DX100's been my first experience with boat anchor stuff, and my first go around with tube theory, but it had been probably almost 10 years since my time in the Navy that I had to rack my brain for tube theory. So it's been fun. It's been a learning experience. This DX100 I fully restored from the ground up. Same with this, the NC303 as well. So it's been fun. It's definitely been intriguing, and makes you want to, take the wagon to the military gear next. So, anyway, I'm not sure it goes to after me. I apologize. So I'll turn it back to Ed, and you can direct it from there. And again, appreciate you running the net, Ted. It's always a great time. Something to look forward to here on Saturday mornings. W3PWW in the old military radio net. This is W3MMR. W1GTX.
Okay, Perry. Here, W1GTX. Stand by. Put you on the list here. Okay, Perry. We're at W3MMR, W3PWW. Anyway, good luck with your search on the military equipment. I was going to suggest an ART-13, but they're getting kind of up there in years. But I know some folks on the net here, K3HPG is quite good at diagnosing and fixing them, and they even have a line on where you can find one. And good luck on your repairs on that one. That's kind of an unusual failure. I don't think I ever had that happen. I did have a capacitor go, the one that comes from the lower stages into the ART-13. That coupling cap failed on one of the ones I had, and I put a nice doorknob in there, and it has worked fine since. So if that's what the case is, it's very easy to fix. It's very accessible on the bottom, and all you have to do is take the bottom cover off, and if that's the one that went, why, it's no big deal to fix it. Okay, continuing on, we have WB3CTC, W1JUJ, KN4R, KW1I, and W1GTX, and back to net control. WB3CTC, W3PWW, and okay on the heat, Mike. It's been hot down here also, and I've been managed to getting stuff done outside. I go out and work a while, and if it gets too hot, I come in. Got the AC running, and just come in and cool off a little bit. WB3CTC, W3PWW in the net. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Ted. I'll stay cool, bud. It could be worse. Okay. W3PWW in the old military radio and that WB3CTC. Okay, well, good net this morning. Like I say, I was surprised. The propagation's not too bad. So, hope to catch everybody next week. So, up to WA1JUJ in the old military radio, that WB3CTC.
WB3CTC from WA1JUJ. Fine, good signal, Mike, the ART-13 RV. And Perry, the DX100 is doing well into Western Mass. I'm not sure what a great first military transmitter is. I probably wouldn't suggest the T195 because it can be a bear to work on. But it's a good 100-watt class transmitter. I would probably go with the ART-13. Not too much more here. I'm going to get out, as I said earlier, and do some antenna work and test out this PM2. See if that helps them in the tuning. So with that, I'll say 73 on this one. We'll be back next week. And it goes out to Brian, KN4R. I barely copy him, so you might have to jump in there. Down to you, Brian. KN4R from WA1JUJ.
KN4R, go ahead.
Hey, Ted. W3PWW. The old military radio net. KN4R. Okay, very good. Well, I'm talking very well down here, but I did hear Brown enough to just a bit. Brown, just wanted to let you know I did check this out here. So, and for the net, I ran into John WP recently at the local military North Carolina, and he looks really, really good. So it was really good to talk to John Bacon. So, anyway, the signals are coming up a little bit in some cases. Pretty tough down here in the south. So I'm going to go ahead and say 73. This morning.
Oh, what happened to the net?
This is an amateur radio station, K1QAR.
Station is transmitting, Ted. KN4R, standby.
Yeah, KN4R signed, Dale. Go ahead.
Okay, W3PWW and the net. This is KW1I. With Tim in there and also K1QAR. Okay, I'm going to go down the list here and see. I had a couple of comments. Glenn, sorry about the problem. It is probably a cap. They go spectacularly sometimes. And let me know if I can help out. I also have spares here on the team. And Steve coming in good. Brown, the GPC 750 sounds great. Didn't hear you this morning on the Meisner. That always sounds great as well. Joe was coming in good, and I have a great time at Sussex. The first trip, we're leaving later today. Now we'll catch you on the other frequency this morning. Jeep, good signal, and about 300 more on the. There is a GSC 19. That's the T195. R392 combination for sale up here in New Hampshire. And if you are interested, contact me. It's not mine, but I can point you to it. Mike, great signal up here. Kevin, hope to see you at the rally. The GSC 19 is sounding very nice here. And as I remember, W1 GTX, I don't know if you got him in the list, but he also came in at one point. So thanks for running the net, Ted. I was going to mention on the Meisner here, when I hook it to my, and I started off with my coax-fed dipole, I have home. But when I switch it over to, and it's intermittent, it's some kind of grounding situation, I guess, and I'll have to get on the air sometime when it's in the middle of the day when nobody's on, and work on it a bit. But when you get on the balance the antenna through the Johnson flash box, there's no hum, so it's amazing. I'll work on that though, and so I will. I'll send it back to you, Ted, and send it down the line, and it was surprising to hear Dean running the net on Sunday night. He did a great job with a big signal, and we understood that you were off for weather-related reasons. So W3PWW, this is KW1I.
Yeah, KW1I, W3PWW. Yeah, we were surrounded by thunderstorms down here. Dale. We had a bunch of them right in the area, and I was hearing thunder and everything else. That's why I called Dean. I tried to call your number, but it was busy, so I called Dean and see if he would take the net over for Sunday night. But yeah, I was right in the middle of a bunch of storms here. It was kind of all around me. Actually, it hit a place about a half a mile away here. I guess that was the blast that I heard. So that's why we decided not to get on. Okay, next station, this is W1GTX. W1GTX, go ahead. Pass it back, please, to me. Over.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Paul, W1GTX. Decided to fire up the ART-13 with a dyno motor, so had to listen to the whine for a little bit. Not too much going on here. Figured I'd jump in. I heard you guys still going, and yeah, not too much else going on here, so I figure I'll send it back to you, Ted. Everybody enjoy your day. This is W1GTX.
Could you give his handle in QTH?
WB2HHA, good morning.
Okay, W1GTX, thanks for checking in this morning. Okay, this is the last call for your military radio net. Anybody left, please call now.
Amateur radio. Marky Baker 2, Hotel Japan Kilo.
Hotel Japan Kilo, go ahead.
Just a good morning to all. Wonder how copy, and I wish everybody a great weekend. Sorry, WB2HJK, George and Queens.
Okay, thanks for checking in. Anyone else, over?
Kilowatt 1. Kilowatt 1, Quebec, America Radio.
Okay, KK4RF and KK4GZQ. Go ahead, KK4RF. I'll pass it to KK4GZQ. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. Let's see here. PWW KK4RF. Well, good morning, Ted. You got a great signal. A lot of weak signals this morning all the way around, but Ted, you got a great signal. So thanks for running the net. And for those who don't know me, this is Marty, short for Martin, in Suffolk, Virginia, and I am not using any military equipment. This is an old Aerocraft A54H transmitter to an SPC 100 linear and listening with a Heathkit receiver. So that's the rundown here. So not much else to report. A bad head and chest cold, and otherwise we're getting okay. So I'll send it over to Kevin, KG4. I can't think of Kevin's call right now. It's GZQ. Go ahead, Kevin. This is KK4RF.
K1QAR checked in as well.
Station, didn't you?
I heard a K1, I think. The K1 station. Give me your call again, over.
Hey, this is K1QAR up at Minuteman Airfield near Boston. Over.
Yeah, the guy's tuning up on you. Give it to it again, over.
This is K1QAR, Quebec, America Radio, and we're up near Boston. Over.
W3TWW with the old military radio net with KK4RF and the group. This is KK4. Good morning to each and every one of you, and glad to hear that the band has finally come around to where I can hear everybody. I was hearing you somewhat a little earlier, Ted, but that was about it.
Can't hear everyone.
Join in, but anyway.
Sounds like something happened.
T610G model,
GZQ is in there.
a state of the silent key DHT Liz, running in fond memory of her, and also using a receiver I got from Liz, an HQ180, and running it with the BC614 speed champ and D104. So anyway, band's starting to come around, but I did elect to go in and work today, so I believe I'm going to go ahead and try to get ahead of the rain. Start doing it here about the middle of next week, and that'll get me about where I need to be. So having to work a Saturday here. So Ted, thank you for running the net. Marty, good to hear you over there. I'm sorry that you're having some ailments. It sounds like you may be getting through it. The transmitter sounded real good coming from Virginia. on transmit this morning. I'll listen to you guys for a few minutes, but I've got to get ready and start heading out the door. W3PWW, always appreciate you guys here on the Whole Military Radio Net. This is KK4GZE from Kentucky, 73.
Yeah, 73. Thanks for checking in this morning. Beautiful signal up here this morning. And yeah, conditions have not been real great this morning. They've been good, but some stations we've had difficulty with. Okay. Anyone else out there for the net? Please call now.
Hello, Charlie 2, Quebec, Yankee Mike.
The Yankee Mike station, go ahead.
Trying to check in.
Okay, good morning. This is Kilo Charlie 2, Quebec, Yankee Mike. KC2QYM in Plymouth Rock, New Jersey. It's northeastern New Jersey. I just heard your net. Wanted to say hello. I'm hearing a few stations in there on AM. I thank you very much for inviting me in. My name is Peter. Location is about 10 miles north of New York City. KC2QYN. Over.
KC2PYN, W3PWW. Okay, good signal. Thank you for checking in. Anyone else? Over.
T1QAR is trying to check in.
Okay, I guess that's the end of the list here. Brown, W1NZR, if you're still on frequency, come back a minute, please. Over.
WB2HJK.
Yeah, I'm here, Ted.
QAR is trying to check in.
I'm here, Ted, and I think there's another station trying to check in, and I think you got the other Ted, K1QAR, but I just wanted to make sure because he is in there. And I think I heard young Timothy Smith too. He may be in there.
Hey, W1NZR. Brown, give me a couple minutes here. W1NZR, W3PWW. Go ahead.
I am listening, Ted. Go ahead.
Okay, if you have the mount for the GRC-19 up there, go ahead. If you don't have one, I do have one. I'll be willing to part with it, but I will not ship it. Whoever wants it, they'll have to come down here and pick it up. So I'm not using it and probably won't use it. So if you have one, that's fine. You're closer. If last resort, I have one here. W1NZR, W3PWW.
Okay, Ted, very well, thank you. Yeah, I want to see, I have a couple of complete GRC-19s, so I don't want to short one with a short one, but make one short without a mount, so I've got to check that, but I'll keep that in mind, and I'll let the fellow know. I'm going to contact him. Thanks, Ted. And Ted, did you say something about having a problem with your DC-610?
No, I don't think he said that. I think he's headed out to work.
No, you, Ted. I was saying, did you say you had a problem with your 610 regarding the CW net? I thought I heard you mention something like that.
Oh, negative. No, I said I have to look around through my crystal supply and see if I have something close. The 3570 is really getting very busy sometime, I guess is the best way I can describe it. But I never heard a QRP net on there, so that's a new one for me. Anyway, that was all that was about. I'll have to look at my crystal supply and see if I have anything close to that. I sure can't grind one higher, that's for sure. Anyway, back to you, Brown, quickly, and then I'll close the net. W1NZR, W3PWW.
Very well, Ted. Thank you very much for your net control duties. Always appreciate it. And yeah, I remember, or I recall Dean saying he got an email from somebody with a QRP net. I'm sorry. We've been operating here for, yes, a very long time, well over 20 years. So I don't know what that's about. W3PWW, W1NZR in the Milrad net. Thank you, Ted.
Okay, Brian, very good. This is W3PWW closing your military radio net. We'll see somebody going to CWNet tomorrow night. As far as I know, we'll be here, minus thunderstorms. And we'll see some of you anyway. next week if that happens. 730, thanks for checking in. Very nice net. W3PWW closing net will be